and I had somebody send me a Facebook comment on their Facebook page saying that I am satanic and that I'm a witch. I am satanic and that I'm a witch. I am satanic and that I'm a witch.
This is Awakened Saint and Ernie saying that the Bible is just a book.
It's just a book. It's just a book. It's just a book.
That I encourage you to stop reading the Bible, to stop reading the Bible, to stop reading the Bible.
Here we go, down the rabbit hole. Years 24, there's going to be false Christs, false prophets to deceive the very elect. Read it for yourself. This is the time where people will believe a lie. Why is God testing the wheat?
But the Lord tests the hearts. But the Lord tests the hearts. For you, O God, have tested us. You have refined us as silver is refined. You brought us into the net. You laid affliction on our backs. You have caused men to ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water, but you brought us out to rich fulfillment.
This is a Mandela Effect channel. We believe, we see, our reality has shifted. It really has. Things are not the same as they used to be. Where Satan's going to use that book and call it his book. It's just a book. It's just a book.
That I encourage you to stop reading the Bible for truth. And I say, I do not encourage people to read the Bible today. I don't. Again, it's important to say for anybody who's new that pops in for almost 7 years on YouTube. Today, I am taking a public stand without apology on my perspective, on my conviction about studying scripture at this point in time. I believe we are at, many of you have already reached this decision for yourselves. I need to let everybody know, anyone who's listening, that I encourage you to stop reading the Bible for truth. I'm taking a stand because the changes are so prolific and they're ongoing. And every time I open up any page of scripture, I see changes, and they go beyond the punctuation and the grammar errors and the emoticons and new words sprinkled here, there, and everywhere. But we are finding whole new passages of scripture being rewritten with language and imagery that is disgusting, that is altogether new. New people, new words, new cities, new countries. But it's more than that. It's now pushing agendas that are so heinous and so wicked that I believe they're going to start corrupting churches. Because right now what's happening, and I've said this from the very beginning, that I knew there would come a time when churches would start teaching what we're reading as new words, new passages, as God's truth. The creator of the heavens and the earth and all it contains. We know there are many gods in this, many gods. We know there's the Antichrist. And there are many Antichrists that have gone out in the world. Those who do not confess that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. We know that. But what I'm trying to tell you is the Bible has become so corrupted that it is impossible to read the scriptures today.
This is what I discovered 8 years ago. A lot of people are blaming Satan for changing the Bible. And Satan is laughing at you because he's not doing it. You are. You are the ones saying that the Bible changed. But you don't have proof, physical proof, or video evidence that the Bible is changing or morphing in front of you. You're the Antichrist. You're the one that's saying that the Bible changed. It's only obvious if you go against the Bible and God and you don't believe the scriptures. That means you're inside a cult against God. You're reading a different book on a different earth. That's the deception. You're reading a book that you don't recognize, but you think is changing. No, you're the one that's changing, not the Bible.
Let me think I'm going to say this, and God help me. I believe that reading scripture today is like walking through a minefield. And I believe that I believe that Bible studies are impossible. You heard me correctly. I believe that doing Bible studies in a traditional format is not possible. Why am I saying this? Because the Bible changes are so prolific, and it's changing the concordance and the commentaries, that if you start reading scripture to do a Bible study, you may fall into the error of studying something that was altered. And then you come out with a new teaching, a new doctrine, a new understanding of something that was not of God.
Will you pass this shaking and will you pass this trial? God sent this deception to test your heart, test your faith.
Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. But the wise shall understand.
And I believe that what we need to do, and as I've said this all these years, we are back to oral tradition. Teaching what we remember, the older teaching the younger. I'm not talking about older like being, a senior citizen. I'm talking about mature in the faith. You can be mature in the faith at 30. The mature in faith must be teaching the younger, the newer in faith. And you can be a younger, an immature Christian at 60 years of age. I'm not talking about chronological age here. I'm talking about spiritual maturity and spiritual immaturity. It's time for the spiritually mature to start feeding the spiritually immature with a scripture that you've hidden in your heart, doctrine that you've hidden in your heart that you know is absolutely sound doctrine. Why am I teaching this? I'll tell you why. Because recently we had a call. Brothers and sisters, my soul is in anguish. It's been in anguish for a while, well, years, with the scripture changes. But I want to tell you something. My last call-in show, our brother called in and he shared a passage from 1 Kings chapter 1. And you can go read it. After, you can stop, you can pause it now, you can go read it now and then come back or whatever you want to do. But it was so disturbing to me. I physically got sick. That's why I actually left so quickly. I get really nauseous with Bible changes. And my body is like, it just kind of freaks out sometimes. I hate talking about the change to scripture, but I feel called to do it. And so that's kind of what happened there and why it ended so abruptly, for those of you who want to know. So today I realized this morning I cannot condone any Bible studies. I don't encourage you to do it.
Do you suppose that I came to give peace on earth? I tell you not at all, but rather division. For from now on 5 in one house will be divided 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. Father will be divided against son, and son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.